Hey everyone, welcome back to Bird Talk with Terrence Mathis. I'm William Brandon. Please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel Atlanta Sports Unlimited and turn on those notifications so you don't miss an episode. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the simplest sports fantasy game on the market. You can pick from football or the NBA. And also sign up at Google Play Store as well as the App Store for iPhone. And if you sign up using the code ASU, Prize Picks will 100% match your initial offer up to $100. Well, Terrence, the Falcons season has officially come to an end after being defeated by the New Orleans Saints at home 30-20 in a game that really wasn't that close. The team overall looked like they didn't come to play, lack of effort. I think we even, were texting about it. I don't really have too much to say about that game because it was just it was a kind of a culmination of the season. They only won one game at home this season, and it wasn't against any of their rivals. So,
well, here, it is a disappointing to a season that everybody was excited for, new coach, new GM, whatsoever, and we were excited about. Well, a lot of people were excited about what may happen. They thought Dan Quinn was not the answer, and that Arthur Smith was. So, you can kind of see the red flags from the beginning. When you don't play your starters in the preseason, and then you come out flat, you lose Calvin Ridley, whatsoever, and then you're trying to figure out who you are, your identity defensively, offensively, when that should have been done in the preseason camp whatsoever. And then you go through the year and don't win at home. Every game you win is against teams under 500. You can't beat a team above 500. Then on the way to the season, you all of a sudden you switch gears. You start by saying that, hey, this is not a rebuild year. If you think we're rebuilding, you hired the wrong two guys, to the point where now, with a month of play, is almost switched and says, well, we don't have the guys that we need to be successful. We don't have cap space. We don't have any money. So pretty much they're saying it's a rebuild year. Yeah. And then here we go, last game of the year, where you have opportunity to beat your rival for the second time, to have some bragging rights, and to convince ownership, management, that you deserve a new contract, or you deserve to be a part of this organization next year. And some of the players did not do that, I thought. So here we are going into the off season, and if you want me to grade this team, it says it all. It goes 7-10. That percentage tells you what the grade is. So I don't really have to grade this. And we said this team would have to have 9 and 10 wins to get into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. They had an opportunity to do that. That would have been a spectacular year for all the things that have occurred during the off season, during the season, for this team, for a first-year head coach to accomplish, and they did not accomplish that. Now, not only the players got to look themselves in the mirror and say, hey, how do I get better? How do I help this franchise get over the hump? But the coaching staff, they got to look themselves in the mirror. Did I put these guys in the proper situation to be successful? Did I do everything necessary for us to win? How can I be a better coach? Not just a better coach in X's and O's. How can I be a better coach in the locker room, on the practice field, on game day, just in period? How can I be a better coach and man and a mentor to these young men, so we can all play for each other and be successful? So there's a lot of things that you got to reassess yourselves in, going into this offseason. Free agency is very important. And I heard Fontenot say the best free agency is signing the guys that's in the building. I get that, but you can't sign everybody in the building, because everybody in the building does not fit what you're trying to do. And you have to go somewhere else to do that. And if you don't have the money, I wouldn't right away jump on the guys in the building that needs to be resigned. I will have to wait a little bit and see how much money we can get from free, to have to go into free agency. And then you talk about the draft pick. I think we're at 8 right now, somewhere 8 to 10 in the draft. And there's going to be some guys out there, there's some dudes out there that you need to get, that's going to make an immediate impact. not one just because he's the best player available.
Yeah.
We want the best player available that's going to make an immediate impact to this football organization. That was a mouthful, but that
Yeah,
was an excess.
look, I was about to say to you, you just covered everything in one little wop. So I got to try to
One breath.
rewind a little. Yeah, one breath. Let me. So I'm gonna rewind a little bit. I know I said we're gonna talk about the Saints game, but just briefly, just a few things. I thought Kyle Pitts, they were going to try to get him to the record. That was never accomplished. Again, they looked lethargic. The building itself, they continue to lose in that building. I don't know what it's going to take besides putting a winning product to keep the people in the stands. Because if you want to have a good time, sure, you can have a good time. Are you going to watch football? Probably not.
Right.
Those people are hanging out and doing whatever.
Right.
So
Right.
I don't know what it's going to take to get that feeling that the Atlanta Falcons football atmosphere used to be at. I mean, from tailgating on, it's very dismal. The Falcons and Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot, yes, this will be coming up on their second year. So I feel like going into the second year, it's going to be a little more strenuous, a lot more scrutiny, at least for me, because, this first year you got your guys, some of your guys, and next year you should have a lot of the team should be the guys that you pick. Like you said,
Right.
they're talking about re-signing the guys in the house, but like you said, are those the guys that you want around for what you're trying to do? I mean, I'm sure there's certain ones that the fans and we do want, like CP, but he balled out. So I'm sure a lot of money is going to come behind that. So, there's a lot of unanswered questions. And I know you said you don't want to give a grade. Arthur Smith, what would you give him year one as a NFL head coach?
A D. I give him a D. A D because I thought sometimes they were unprepared. Sometimes I thought the scheme wasn't effective for the opponent that we were facing, and I just thought body language on sidelines uh, told the uh, gave you the answer of what was going on, the press conferences afterwards, this and that. So, I think, and people says, why is that important? Because your players are looking, your players are watching, they're listening. And your body language and what you say and how you say it is important uh, when you're a leader of an organization. Yeah. So, I thought that wasn't, and everybody gonna say, who are you to say whatever you say? Hey, look, you when you're a leader, you as good as your leader, and point blank. So that's the grade I give him, a D.
No, I mean, you have every right to give your opinion and grade. I mean, you played this game for a long time. You've coached on all levels. So, I mean, your opinion is warranted. I mean, the way the NFL is operating with today's landscape with head coaches, you could be like Brian Flores and win 8 in a row and lose your job. Or, it took Joe Judge to pretty much keep on running his own mouth to get fired. So he probably would have still had his job if he wouldn't have kept it up in the media. Terry Fontenot, what kind of off-season grade? I mean, grade you give him for his first season as a general manager?
Right now it's he has a high grade because he had a tough situation when he came in. I give him a B because at the end of the day, there was no major moves to move guys out or no major moves to move guys in. They did a lot of shuffling with practice squad players and getting players healthy, getting players ready to play. So I give him a B right now. I give him a B, a solid B. He says all the right things. He stays out the way, and to me, he's evaluating, and I like that. That tells me that he's looking at the overall picture and not getting caught up on look at me on the sidelines in my great suits, my good ties, my pocket
Square.
Pocket squares and all those things, my nice glasses that match my stuff. He wasn't that guy. So that goes to tell me that he's a grinder. And I'm looking forward to see what he's going to do in free agency.
And And in saying that, what do you think the Falcons' biggest need, whether it is on free agency or the draft? What do you think their biggest need going in to the offseason?
Biggest need, the biggest need right now is what we've been saying for the last 3 or 4 years. They need a guy, edge rusher. They need a guy that's disruptive on the edge. And I'm not talking about a guy that's going to get you 20 sacks in a game. I'm not even talking about a guy that's going to get you 15 or 10 sacks in a game. If he gets you 8 to 10 sacks, but disruptive, that
Hmm.
makes a quarterback step up, give Grady Jarrett a chance to punch him in the mouth, that's the kind of guy you want. Or a guy that can string out a sweep that and wait for the cavalry to come. That's the guy you want. We want a solid guy that can make plays against the pass and against the run. And that's what we've been missing. Is it in a rookie? I don't It could be, but I don't know. There has to be a guy out there that's hungry, that understands that this team had 7 wins and probably can get 3 more the next year, have and probably win the division
Hmm.
if they do well in free agency and in the draft.
Yeah, edge rusher would be huge. Um, as we know, the Falcons were very low, and like you said, the sacks maybe necessarily. You don't always have to have the sack lead to
Right,
cause disruption and have
right,
a great defense off of that.
right,
But the Falcons were low in the sack category. I mean, individual players were beating the whole team out.
right,
Like Watt beat out the entire Falcons team in sacks.
right,
So
right.
we
Yeah.
were
And,
clearly struggling on that end. What do you and not need, but what do you think the biggest concern is going into the off season as far as
Calvin Ridley, that's your biggest concern.
uh,
Calvin Ridley is your biggest concern. Continue to hope the best for him. Continue to pray for his well-being, and hopefully, they can get him back. If they can get him back, I think Matt Ryan gets excited. It helps out the Pitts situation and Cage, and so now there you go. I don't know. I don't know what you do about the running back situation,
mhm.
um, but you're gonna have to get that fixed. Do you draft a guy? There's going to be some good guys coming out this year, some young guys coming out this year that can help you, especially the type of running game that you want to have. You have what is the Haskins kid from Michigan is a
Mhm.
big physical back that you like. I'm not saying he's Derrick Henry, but that's that downhill runner that you're looking for that can break tackles at the line of scrimmage. That's that guy from Michigan. Is that the direction you want to go in? So is it the Robinson kid? Is this Robinson the running back from Alabama? Big Rob.
I'm not for sure.
Yeah, the running back from Alabama, big physical running back. So you got some guys that fits your profile in the type of offense you want to run at running back.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think you go out and draft a receiver very high. There's not many in the draft that really catches my eye that I can say, oh, he can be an impact player for this
Yeah.
team. It may be some free agent guys out there. I haven't looked at the list yet, but it's so early to do that. But free agency is coming up soon, so then you got to. We haven't talked about the elephant in the room yet. Quarterback. What are you going to do there?
Well, the
Do
Falcons,
you?
Terry Font or Arthur Smith said, he'll be back next year, so at
Oh yeah,
least he'll be back
and
next
I
year.
and I and I expect that to happen.
Hmm.
That he comes back next year. That's a lot of money that you're going to have to leave on the table if you trade him or release him or whatever it does. So, why not let him play his last year? Um, they did it with Big Ben in Pittsburgh. Let him finish his last year. You're gonna reconstruct his contract again, which is fine with Matt. If he can retire an Atlanta Falcon and hopefully win a division and get into the playoffs, that's beautiful for him. And he can ride off in the sunset. But you better have a replacement in place. I don't know if you go get a backup from another team and whatsoever, but it looks like uh, Arthur Smith is in love with this Rosen kid, and I don't Josh Rosen. I don't know if he's the answer for this franchise. So there's that one you got to address, and hopefully they do the right thing.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of shakeup as far as quarterbacks in the NFL. I believe this off season whether it be Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and then you have
Hmm.
Deshaun Watson, who's back in the fold.
Right.
So the Falcons will have Matt Ryan, and I guess they're going to sit idly by, like you said, unless they find one in free agency or they draft. And then,
Right.
you have people trying to eye Bryce Young, but that's a whole nother year away.
That's all
Um,
year. Yeah, that's
So
and Falcons won't draft. Falcons.
you would have to be,
Falcons.
you have to be the worst
Yeah.
team in the NFL because
Yeah.
he'd go number
Well,
one.
here's the thing. Falcons don't do well with SEC guys anyway. They don't do, especially in the skill position.
Hmm.
Unless you're a receiver from the SEC in Alabama. That's that's it. You know. But far as you know, big time skill guys whatsoever.
Hmm.
We're notoriously we don't draft well coming out of the SEC. But do you, and like you said, do you draft a guy third or fourth round and sit him a year behind Matt Ryan? You
Yeah.
could do that, or do you go get a free agent or you go get a guy like a Mariota in Vegas with
Hmm.
the Raiders, and he fits the perfect profile for your offense, Arthur Smith. He's your Tannehill that you had in Tennessee.
Hmm.
So you go get him, and then you go get one of them big physical running backs in the draft, and Ridley come back offensively. Got an offensive line. They got experience under their belt. Now we're doing something offensively. Now you got your offense that you had in Tennessee, the makeup of it, and now you can open up your book and get out of page 50 and get to page 89, 90 to 100 in that playbook.
And I'll say that as far as our defense is concerned, yeah, they were pretty bad again, but we still have bright spots, such as Grady Jarrett and Foye Oluokun, who led the NFL in tackles. That's somebody we gotta get re-signed, I would think.
Right.
He's probably the top priority at
Yeah.
this point.
Hmm. Hmm. I'm
Um,
optimistic about this defense. First year under Pease, I think next year they'll be better. I think they'll be a lot better. I think you still have a question at right corner.
mhm.
Um, that's the weak spot, of course. Uh, you draft? I think you need to draft a guy there. You do you draft him in number 8 pick or number 9 pick or wherever we are? You could, because there's going to be some really good guys there that you can get that can help us. Um, then you talk about Deion Jones. What do
Mhm.
you do with him? And this is what you do with him. You put him on the edge and let him be your edge rusher in your 3-4 scheme. You let him rush the passer, drop in coverage, cover tight ends, cover running backs. That's your speed guy that can
Yeah.
get to the quarterback, and then you go find a bigger backer to replace him. And there's a couple sitting on the bench that can do that. So you got an opportunity to make this defense faster and more explosive if you just move some pieces around.
Around. And that's smart because I think that would maybe help rejuvenate Deion Jones. Being with us since the Super Bowl, he's been through the ups and downs of this team, and I know it wears thin on players. So I feel like
Yeah,
maybe he needs some new motivation, and that
yeah,
might be the
yeah,
key to
yeah,
freeing him. And you're
yeah. He
right.
looks frustrated. He looks frustrated. He looks
Yes,
frustrated,
yes, he does.
and sometimes he look unenthused. So I think
Exactly.
this will put a say what I can go get double-digit sacks.
Hmm.
Okay, listen, I'm ready to go play. He may put on an extra 5 or 10 pounds just to handle the wear and tear of defense of offensive tackles, but
Yeah.
I think he can do it. I think that's the answer for you right there.
You are right. The Falcons do have the eighth pick in the draft. The Falcons did finish the season on a 2-game losing streak. They split with the Saints, they split with Carolina, and they were swept by Tampa. And they
Hmm.
finished third place in the division with a 7-10 record. So next year's schedule shouldn't be that hard, but again,
Hmm.
this year's you would have thought wouldn't have been that hard either. I guess we can just hope that they make the right decisions in
Right.
the off season. But I feel like this last little bit, maybe we can talk about the people that are still alive, the
Hmm.
NFL playoffs that we got coming
Yes.
up this weekend.
Yeah. Mm.
Which game you
No,
excited for?
um, that the most intriguing game to me is Kansas City and Pittsburgh.
Mhm.
It is because of the fact that is Big Ben when he announced that this was it for him. all everything started falling in place.
Place.
Everything started his uh his bye-bye party is starting to fall in place. And that's dangerous
Mhm.
because when a first ballot Hall of Famer announces that this is it for me, this is my retirement tour, it usually ends up Super Bowl and Super Bowl win. It happened for Ray Lewis, it happened for John Elway, and
Jerome
here
Bettis.
comes Jerome Bettis, and here we go again. I'm like, oh my goodness. So that's the scary thing because here's the thing: the team has something to play for.
Mhm.
When you have something to play for, it's very dangerous. For instance, in 1998, Dan Reeves had triple bypass heart surgery,
Mhm.
right? And we had something to play for. We wanted to play for him. We wanted to play long enough so he can get healthy and get back on the sidelines with us. And
Mhm.
we did that all the way up to the Super Bowl. So here's another thing: we want to play for Big Ben. We want him to go out as champion.
Mhm.
So everybody's rallying together, the team is rallying together, the coaches are rallying together, and you have something to play for. And now it's special. You see, oh my God, Cam Hayward has just turned it up a notch. Oh my goodness. Uh, Fitzpatrick and Watts and something that's not mentioned a whole lot. Over the last 15 years, you know who the most winningest coach in the NFL is?
Mike Tomlin.
Yes, he is. Has not had a losing season in his first 15 years as a head coach. That's
Mhm.
phenomenal, and that has not been talked about enough. And if he has not been the best coach over the last decade plus, I don't know who else is. Of course, Belichick won
Yeah,
Super
I was gonna
Bowls,
say people say
whatsoever.
Belichick.
Yeah, yeah. But this guy has been to two Super Bowls and won
Yeah.
one, so he's not that far behind. Matter of fact, he's second on a list of current coaches in wins under Belichick.
I would take a non-losing season for 15 years over here.
Yeah, for sure, for sure,
We had
for
too
sure.
many losing seasons in Atlanta, so to have 15 in a row, that's
Mhm.
that's amazing.
And then the other game that's very intriguing. There's a couple of games. I want to see what Cincinnati does in the playoffs.
Hmm.
You know, we're talking about Joe Burrows and how good he is, and I always say you don't become one of those elite quarterbacks until you win a playoff game,
Hmm.
until you perform well in a playoff game. And here's his chance to be in that category of everybody saying he's gonna be great or he's gonna
Yeah,
be one of the best to ever play the game. And then the other game is Philadelphia and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, who all their weapons besides Gronk and Evans, they're healthy, but everybody else is going from
hmm,
AB to Godwin to Fournette, and we just want to see what Tom Brady can do offensively with that. Now we know that defensively, uh, the defense carried Tampa Bay in the playoffs last year, and Tom Brady had to do minimal. He just had to make plays. So we're gonna see if that. But when you have a quarterback like Jalen Hurts that can do it all, throw it and run it, it's going to put a lot of pressure on his defense. So that's going to be an intriguing game. Also, look, there's some games out there that are need to watch games. And then there's
yeah.
some games like, like Buffalo and New England. You kind of almost like, okay, really don't care who wins that game.
Hmm. Well, I'm glad playoffs are back, and it's definitely going to be intriguing. I mean, you even got the old matchups such as the Cowboys and 49ers that you haven't had
Yeah,
in many years. So that should be definitely entertaining. But hopefully the Falcons can get back to the playoffs because this is what it's all about. That's what you play for. You play to win a championship, and it's no fun when the season ends and you're here at 7-10.
well, they were close. Think
Yeah,
about it. They were only 2 games away. They were just 2 games away. They
you
were
beat
close.
you beat Washington, you beat Carolina, those two
Yeah,
games.
those 2 games, you're close.
Hmm.
You're close, and then you win the last one of the season that just cements your playoff spot. You
Hmm.
there? That's the 10 wins we were talking about. So you're close. You just here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't care if you don't even make a change. in your roster, you're gonna have to, because you got to draft some guys
Yeah.
whatsoever. You're gonna lose some guys. But here's the thing: there has to be a trust between coach and players to coaches. If you don't have that, and from coaches to management,
Mhm.
if there's a disconnect in any one of those three areas, you can't be successful. You cannot be successful. Everyone has to be on the same page, speaking the same language, going the same way, on the same road at the same speed limit. If you're not doing that, it's almost it's one thing that I always say. I says as a head coach, I always say, hey, we got to be one body. We got to be one body, and we always talk about, we're body of Christ. And I always say, once you step out of being in the body of Christ, you can't be fulfilled in the directions you want to go.
Mhm.
And I says it's almost like your body. If you dislocate a shoulder, it's hard to perform
Yeah.
with a dislocated shoulder. So that's like a football team. If you one body and one family, and there's one or two people that's not in the body
Yeah.
and not thinking and operating and coordinated with the body, your chances of being successful is limited.
Mm. I wanted to ask you what you got to end this for us today, but you may have just did it then.
When I was saying that, I was like, oh my God, I'm speaking too soon. But here, I do have something. I do have something for us to end with. At some point in your life, and some point during the day,
Mhm.
find you a quiet spot and just listen to God. Just open up your hearts, open up your soul, open up your spirit, and just listen. Now, before you listen, get a piece of paper or get on your phone and jot down a few thoughts that you have, good, bad, indifferent, whatever it is, and then just sit it down, and then just sit and listen in a quiet space. It could be for 30 seconds, it could be up to 30 minutes, however it is. Just listen. All your thoughts, what are you thinking? And just listen. And I don't know what's going to come from it, but sometimes we have to get off the social media and listening to what other people think and what other people are saying, what the government is saying, watching news whatsoever, and then we're soaking all this stuff in, and we're soaking all what other people are saying about this player, about this game, about this organization, about what's going on, and COVID and all these things. We're listening to other people, and we're soaking it in, and then we're spewing it out like it's true, or we're spewing it out in anger against it. But have you ever sat down and listened to God? Listen to Him and listen to what He has for you and soak in what He's saying to you, and then let it come out of you in a positive way to affect change wherever you are, in your home, in your community, in this world. And you'll be better off for it.
For sure. Thank you, T. Everyone, please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Atlanta Sports Unlimited. Sign up for prize picks. I hope you all have a great day. Bye, everybody.
Yes. Peace.